Okay, we're going to be using LethalLib to add scrap and shop items to Lethal Company. And yeah, you can do quite a bit with LethalLib, but just for right now, we're going to be looking at the items module. So the main things, it's all quite straightforward. Register scrap, give it an item, rarity, and the levels to spawn on. It'll handle everything. And the shop item, you can pretty much do the same, but with a price and an info node, and it'll set it up and get you ready to go. But I'll show you how to structure it in Unity so that everything works well. So you're going to need the Lethal Company Unity template and set this up. It's only like 5 steps, so should be pretty easy, and make sure you are using 22.3.9. Yeah, and you'll have to download this in Hook Gen Patcher, and then of course your mod will become dependent on this. So you just have in your plugins LethalLib, and this is what you're going to reference in your project or add as a dependency. And yeah, you'll have to make sure your users install this. And then yeah, for your project, you want to make sure, actually I guess we're not doing custom netcode, but still, you want to make sure you're doing this, you're creating it with this, the .NET standard, and then making sure that your target is .NET standard. But yeah, I guess in Unity, I grabbed a little model, raw model from another mod of mine. And so in here, you'll know if it's the template set up, if you can go scriptable objects, and then you have item, enemy type, unlockables, and all of this stuff. But you can drag the model you want, or actually, let's create. So this is a box of garbage bags. Let's reset that and put this in, make it a lot smaller. And there we go, we have a box of garbage bags. Now the first thing we'll do is this little point, this transform point or whatever, it's in the center, but this is what the game uses to check for collision. So what we can do is pull that up. Now the root object, its transform point, will be at the bottom. So this is going to fall and check this point against the ground, and it will hit there. So the ground will be there. So that is very, very important. And then let's set the tag, physics prop, the layer props, just that. And then we can add a physics prop. Okay, then grabbable, you'll want scrap value, no, we're good. Grabbable to enemies, and really that's like all you need. If it has a battery, stuff like that, you'll need that. We're going to have to assign this, but it's not created yet. The network object, this is important. Uncheck that and check that. Okay, and then we need a box collider. These are so annoying. And so yeah, again, this isn't going to actually be collision, this collider here. This is just going to be grab collision. So when the player is looking around, this is basically, if they're looking at any of these areas, this is the little dialog that pops up that says, hey, do you want to grab this or whatever. Okay, and then we need an audio source. Even if you don't have custom audio, you need an audio source. And then your mixer group, you want just diegetic, is that even how you pronounce that? Just want it on master. And okay, if you're, actually we'll just talk about this later, but yeah, this can be problematic, but there's a new feature that resolves this. Play on awake, you won't want. Then spatial, where is that? Am I blind? Yeah. You want that at 1. Where did my mouse go? The max distance 25 is pretty normal, and it uses linear, I believe. Okay, so that should be pretty set up. Now we can create our scan node. Scan node, box collider. That should be fine. This doesn't really have to be exact, it just has to be picked up by the scan in that collision check. Then we need scan node properties. We can change this to scan node so that it'll get picked up. Max range 13, min range 1, that's pretty normal. Require line of sight, header text, garbage bags, bag garbage. So scrap value, this will get automatically assigned. Creature scan ID, you want it -1 because it's not a creature. Then node type 2. Okay, and that is pretty well everything for that. Yeah, that looks good. So we can make this a prefab. So we have our box of garbage bags. We're going to right click, scriptable objects, item, garbage bags, item. Okay, so item name, self-explanatory. Two-handed, no, this one won't be. If you check that, then it is two-handed. Weight, you subtract 1 and multiply by 100. So 1.1, that will be 10 pounds. 1.15 will be 15 pounds. Guess we'll just do 10 pounds. So is conductive, this will allow lightning to come for it. Item spawns on ground, you want to check that. Is scrap, so if it's scrap, you'll check this. Credits worth, I believe this is what the shop uses for its price, although I think you can override it. We're going to do both with this, so I'll just set 50. Okay, max value and min value. This is important for scrap generation because this is deciding the price. So max value is 70, min value 50. Basically when this spawns, it's going to roll in between here and find a number. So spawn prefab, we can drag that in, your little prefab you made. Item icon, you can set whatever you want here. I have some ripped assets that I dragged in, so I'll just put the scrap item icon. Here's sound effects. This is where you can put those, so you can put whatever you want here. I'm just gonna put some garbage for the sake of, I guess I'll pick a different one. I think clipboard sounds good, yeah. Okay, all of that doesn't matter. Okay, so that's that. Now we have to go back to the prefab physics prop and drag our item to the item properties. That is very important as well. So we're good to go now. So what we can do is create a new asset bundle. I'll call this item mod. Okay, and now we have to build our asset bundle. So if you create an editor folder and then create a script called whatever you want, and then you can find this code everywhere, but you just put that in there. What that does is it puts this little thing here, which will build your asset bundles. You can also asset bundle browser. This is something people use. Go to the package manager and then add package from get URL, and then you put in this URL, which I guess I'll put in the description, and then get this here and build will do the same thing. So it's up to you. And yeah, this will build. Then I have it set to go to this folder here. Item mod. So that's the one that we want. So in our Beppin plugins folder, new folder, item mod. Okay, we can put that in there, and then yeah, you'll have to create your project. So this is just a very simple setup. You know, this is all it is, plugin, and then with your dependencies, of course, you're gonna have to add a reference to well, unity.assetBundle or unityengine.assetBundle module. Of course, you'll need that. Hopefully you've created a little mod before, and no, I mean, you also need assembly C#, you need, anyway, yeah, I'm sure you have. And then, no, that's the wrong thing. You're going to need a reference to LethalLib itself, of course. Okay, so you have everything added, nothing looks ugly, and what we can do is load the asset bundle. So what this does, path.combine with the executing assembly. So as long as it's beside the DLL, it'll grab the file called itemmod, which is our asset bundle. Then we'll do asset bundle load from file with the directory, and we can grab things out of it. So we want our item out of it, that's all we have. Oh, and sorry, I'm bouncing all over the place, but if you open the manifest file up, you'll see the assets and a path. So this is the path you need to use to load it. It's also the same path that is in here. So assets, tutorial, garbage bags item. Come back, there we go. So item garbage bag equals bundle dot load asset item, because that's the type, and then the path get out of here is there. So this will pull it out, and now we have the item. And so one thing we can do first is, I guess, utilities. This is a new thing. And then, what was it called again? I don't have it up, do I? Items, utilities, should be at the bottom. Fix mixer groups, okay. Fix mixer groups, and garbage bag dot spawn prefab. Okay, so we're passing this to it, and basically this is going to fix the audio. If you don't do this, then all your sound effects will play twice. It's really annoying, but it's convenient that this is thrown in there. And then we can use the items module. Items dot, so we have register scrap. So we can just throw our item in there, and the other target once is rarity. So 0 to 100 I think is normal values, 100 being very common, it's a weighted list, and 1 would be extremely rare. So for debugging, often I'll set it to 1000 just to make sure that it spawns. And then we need the level flags, so levels.level types. So you can see all the ones you have. Oh, and there's some new ones too. I think this is for or vanilla. Not sure actually. But normally I just do all. But of course, if you only want it on assurance or whatever, set it to whatever. Okay, and then can do networking. What was it? Lib.modules dot. Oh, it is network prefabs. Register network prefab. This is also very easy to do if you're not using LethalLib, but if you are using it, there's no reason to reinvent the wheel when it's right in front of you. So this will basically make it, actually, shoot, does register scrap already do this? I hope not. But this will, doesn't hurt anyways. This will make it so that the other clients know what this object is, basically. Okay, so this is it. That's it, really. And, you know, why do I even have this here? Because we're not patching anything. But this will load the item right here. This will register it. This will fix the audio. This will get it set up as scrap. So we could test that. Oh, actually, that's. Then there's register shop. Get out of here. Shop item. So it's the same thing. Garbage bag. And then you can manually set a price. But there's also another. So you can see buy node 1, buy node 2, then info, and then price. So this is normally the one that I use. Oops. So let's set that to 0. So terminal node equals ScriptableObject.create instance terminal node. Okay, and then node.clear previous text equals true. Node.display text equals this is info about garbage. Okay, so now whenever the user types in info garbage bag or whatever, it'll show a new little response thing that says this is info about garbage. Oh, and it's good to add new lines at the end of these. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's build and check. So build is completed successfully. So we can go to, this is where it built. It's in your net standard. Oh, it's on my wrong monitor. An item mod. Item tutorial.dll. Excuse me. And let's launch. Okay. And so I have Unity Explorer installed, which I get out of here. I highly recommend. So you can press F7 and it basically brings up the inspector. So you'll see in a second why that's so handy. But let's check the store. Box of garbage bags. There it is. Order that. Let's go down. Let's open Unity Explorer, and we set the rarity to 1000. So we can see all of these ones that spawn, and they look normal. And here it is. And now you'll notice he's holding it kind of weird. That is not ideal. But the icon works, the sound effects are playing, we scan it, garbage bags, bag garbage, everything works there. And then we know it is spawning in the dungeon. If you want, you can run in and find it, but it's the same as this, so we know it will work. But let's take a look at getting them to hold it correctly. So, garb. This is the one we're holding because it's parented. We can pop open the physics prop. Can open the item properties. So this is our scriptable object we created basically, and it's constantly pulling all sorts of data from this. So scroll down. Now we have position offset, resting rotation, and rotation offset. So let's put you over here. There we go. Okay, so where are we? Rotation, resting rotation. This is going to be when it's on the ground and not held. So if we, change that and hit apply and drop it, you see how it is now on its side. So if your item is spawning on its side or all weird, you can change that to get it going the right way. Now rotation offset, position offset, this is going to be in your hand. So see, that shifted it to the right a bit. That shifted it away from me. And that shifted it up. Okay. And this is going to rotate it. Negative. Okay, so now it's there, and maybe we want it out a little bit, and we don't actually need it floating up so much, and you can get it positioned however you like. And then you make note of these. So position offset is 0.1 on Y, rotation offset is -90 on Z. So we can go back in, and the scriptable object position offset is 0.1 on Y, and rotation offset is -90 on Z. 0.1 Y, -90 on Z. Okay, and so now that we have this updated, what we can do is build again. And then once this is built, we will swap this out. Where am I? Okay. we'll swap this out. I'm not going to do that right now because it might be, actually it shouldn't be being accessed. Okay. And now when we reload, it will just have these, so, you know, you'll pick it up perfectly, of course. But that is pretty well that. I think I covered everything. I guess briefly, in the items module, there is remove scrap from levels, remove shop item, update shop item price. Now these work just as you would expect them to. So update shop item price, you pass the shop item and the new price. This has to be called at runtime, so after start of round.awake, like while the lobby's instantiated. And yeah, so this is what you're going to use for config syncing. I just realized I could also show how to add an item with a custom behavior. Yeah, quickly, just a simple one, so I'll do that. So physics prop, we can just get rid of this. And build, that's all we'll have to do there. Okay, and then coming back in here, I normally create a folder called Behaviours or something, and you can create an item and which I don't know. I'm just gonna do something simple. So create something. This has to inherit from. We can have it inherit from physics prop. There you are. Okay, and then public override void. What's it called? Item activate. Yeah. Okay. I think this will. Player held by dot damage player, and this is the one. Yeah, that's RPC. Damage player. Whoops. 20. And let's just do a quick check. Not diagnostics. Unity, not editor. Engine? Yeah, that gets it. Okay, and then when we load our item, so garbage bag, before we register it or anything, we want to do, let's grab a reference. What was it called again? Damage player item. Let's just call it script. Garbage bag dot add. Oh no, dot spawn prefab. Wow, get out of here. Spawn prefab dot add component damage player item. Okay, and so that adds it, but there's still stuff that we'll want to change or what have you. So anything that we set on the physics prop, so for example like grabbable and grabbable to enemies, which is really it actually. Yeah. So we can just do script.grabbable equals true, script.grabbable to enemies equals true. Oh, and the most important thing, script.item properties equals garbage bag. If you don't have that, it will get very angry at you. Okay, so we have our item here. Let's pick it up, left click, and it hurts us. So we have, and really, the sky's the limit. You can do whatever you want. This is very simple, but yeah. Yeah, that should be everything. You should be able to take over the world with custom items and scrap now. And if you do want networked behavior, I made a tutorial on netcode in general and using the netcode patcher. I can link to that. You know what? We may as well do map hazards too, or map objects inside map objects. So this let's add the physics prop back. We'll just keep this basic. Grabbable item. Okay. And we can build. And then let's go back. So they're a little different. The main thing is they use animation spawn curves. But let's get rid of this. Okay. And we can get rid of that and that and that. Okay. So it's no longer a scrapper item. Right now it's nothing. It's just registered with the network. And actually, I'm all over the place, but register item. If you have an item you don't want to be scrap and you don't want to be a shop item, you want to spawn it your own ways, pass it to this, because what this will do is it will register the item with the start of round all items list, which is essential for saving and loading items on the ship and doing stuff like that. So that's actually very important if you're kind of doing your own thing. Okay, where was I? So the thing we want, it's from the map objects module, and it's just register map object. Then there's also outside object. I haven't used this, but I mean, it should be more or less the same. Okay, and hello, what are you doing? You'll see, so it wants map object def, levels, stuff like that. Okay, so spawnable map object def equal, I think this is scriptable object. Yep. Accept spawn. Okay, spawn dot spawnable map object equals new spawnable map object. Okay, and spawn dot spawnable map object dot prefab to spawn equals, what was it, garbage bag. Okay, so we can put this in here, but we still need the levels and the spawn rate for each level. So levels dot level type dot all, and then we have to point this at animation curve thing. So animation curve, yeah, and you insert keyframes into here, so you can think of this as like a graph. So to make sure something spawns, we can do 0, 1, and we can do new keyframe 1, 10. Okay, so, and you can insert as many as you want, so we could even do new keyframe 0.5 f and have that be 2. Okay, so if you graph this, so it's a value of 1 at 0, and then at 0.5 it's 2. So right about here, let's say 2 is there, the line will go like that, and then up to 10 to 1 will go like that. So it's like a spawn curve, or it's an animation curve, but basically we'll pick a random number along, like from 0 to 1, and whatever the value is there, it's how many will spawn. So, you know, there's a 50% chance it'll spawn like 1 to 2, and then if it rolls above 50, it'll get, yeah, you know, you get it. Okay. So there's that. Why are you angry? Oh. Spawn prefab game object has to be game object. So you can set up a more advanced little thing, but we could just do, oops, curve. We can just create a little guy that says, you know, for every single level, it's just going to be this spawn curve. But if you want to have different curves for different levels, then have at it. But yeah, this is gonna spawn it as a map object, so we can do another really quick test. Build, make sure to replace the DLL and the AssetBundle, of course. Okay, so let's go down. Let's open Unity Explorer. And I don't think they'll be here. I think they'll be in here. Unless I'm wrong. Oh yeah, they go into map props container in the scene of the map. So you can see one ended up spawning, and it is in there. So this is the same place where I think turrets and things like that will spawn. But yeah, that's that.